I mean, we get it all the time here at Mission. We are obviously in the creative space, but our sponsors do care very much about what every company that sponsors entertainment cares about, like ratings, right? So if we have a huge download week, they're like, oh, why'd that happen? It's like, I don't know. And you would think certain things are obvious, right? So like the obvious, like you said, you got to back out the obvious. So the obvious thing is, oh, the new episode launched. So, okay, we back that out. Then all of a sudden, every week looks kind of similar to every other week, but there's just a few more listens per episode. Now, when you culminate it, because we have so many episodes, you have a monster week, you have a big launch, and you have increased listenership across all episodes. But I have no data tools to tell me why was listenership up by 35% in a calendar week. How would the Sisu tool begin to investigate that? I'm curious.
So, I think what has happened in past 10 years is companies are capturing a lot of data. So I'm pretty sure in your company Mission, there is data available about, your users, who's listening to the podcast, maybe certain age group, location, things like that. So, if you look at 2000s, we did not have enough data. If you look at now, there is a lot of data captured about all the user activities within an app. And that's true across the board, whether it is an e-commerce app, fintech, or it is a podcast app. But, we captured a lot of information about the users and about their activities. What we do in Sisu, we have a concept called wide table. That means give me one table with all of your dimensions in there. You can also add, of course, your metric in there. For example, in your case, your metric is number of users per podcast. That's what you care about. And you want that to go up, right? And when it goes down, you want to actually get an answer why. So if you create this flat table with all of these dimensions around who's listening, what is their age group, what kind of podcast they listen every day, what is the geolocation, and if you feed this data in Sisu, and suddenly if there is a trend change that you got 35% more users this week than last week, it would start giving you a combination of things that drove that particular KPI. So one of the things that you need to do to make Sisu functional is give us all the data that you have captured so far, all the dimensions you have. Richer the data that you provide us, better the answers we give it to you. For example, you provide us only geolocation, then we give you really a vague answer that, I think somewhere in California, people are listening more to your podcast. Not an actionable thing. If you add 10 more dimensions, we can actually tell you what really happened behind the scenes. So we can actually create a lot more insights depending upon how good data is. And once you provide us this flat data, which is a bunch of these columns around dimensions, we can actually be very creative in giving you answers on why.
Yeah, so you saying that started getting me thinking. So let's go back to the retail example. I think we all understand the retail business, podcast business, maybe people don't understand. The retail business thing, most people have a general concept of it. But as you were saying that, I started thinking about, man, there's probably so many variables that there's not even your data, right? So like, I'll use an example. Let's say I'm a retailer. I will know my product data and my sales data. Of course, I know my web traffic data, but there's other data that I probably need to pump into you too, which is like my advertising data. Where am I advertising? My, print digital media data, my product release data. So like a good example is this. A retailer might only have a product SKU. So like, for example, I have phone cases, right? And I might have a new phone case and I might have the colors and I know that stuff. But what I won't catalog, which I know most retailers don't catalog, is going to be out the other things that went into that phone. It won't be in their database. So like the phone case company might be using new materials, might be using a new build. They themselves might have changed their advertising campaign. That could influence total sales of phone cases across your retail operations. So as you were saying that, I started thinking about like, not only is it your data, but sometimes the answer is probably in data that you have access to, but you might not be tracking. Like you're not measuring it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a sales analyst and I haven't been measuring that, then I don't know to measure that. And so I was thinking as you were saying that, like, yeah, you would probably need all these things to come true so that if you were a retailer, you'd be like, hey, this region took off, but also because these guys got this product first, this series one of this product with an advertising campaign, and it all added together to better sales. Or, I mean, that's a hypothetical scenario, but kind of piggybacking off what you said of all these other dimensions that maybe most businesses have access to, but they might not be thinking about when they do their own analysis.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. And what we do is we generally work with our customers when they use our tool and they say, well, these are some of the obvious facts we knew about. And we would actually work with them to say, hey, what kind of dimensions have you captured? What kind of columns and data have you captured? And maybe there is more.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to kind of join between these two tables and give us even that information. And that's kind of an ongoing thing. Like what we see our customers, they start with certain data, they get some insights, but they want more insights. And they would ask us that, hey, what is the best way of getting this data into the tool as well? So generally, as I was talking about creating a large fat table, which has all possible dimensions that you care about, and you could add more dimensions as you find sort of more data that you captured, you can keep on getting better and better insights as you give us better data day after day. So our tool adapts to this new set of information pretty well. It's almost like restarts it. Okay, instead of looking at 100 columns, now I'm looking at 200 columns and I can give you even better insights out of it. So what we generally tell is the good thing is most of this data these days is captured in some kind of data warehouse, right? So almost every sizable SMB or enterprise companies, they would have some kind of data warehouse and they've captured a lot of data. What we tell them is make sure that you're kind of giving us all of that data access rather than a small portion of data, because we can give you a much better insights. But this is an iterative process and we generally work with our customers. If they hit a ceiling saying, well, this is a great insight, but not actionable. And generally it's less about our engine's capability, but it's more about what data is coming in and can they actually provide more dimensions so that we can actually provide better insights. So it's a cycle that goes on.
IT Visionaries is powered by Salesforce Platform and Dreamforce. Did you know all the best Dreamforce sessions are available free on salesforce.com/plus? We recommend watching the platform and MuleSoft keynote to get the down low on doing more with less and increasing efficiencies with automation.